Hi, welcome to The Reluctant Patient. My name is Michael Morris and I'm a prostate cancer survivor. I began making this video series because I wanted to share some things that I learned along the way. From diagnosis through early treatment, I found I was overwhelmed with information, stuff I needed to know and needed to fully learn in order to make consequential decisions about my health and about my future. And I have some insights I'd like to share with you. I want to make it very clear that this video series should in no way be construed as medical advice. It is not. If you are seeking medical advice, particularly in making treatment choices, you should be speaking with your doctor. And if you're not getting satisfactory information from your doctor, then please speak with other doctors and other medical professionals so that you have the complete information you need to have in order to make decisions affecting your life. 4B, erogenous zones. Let's talk about this a little bit. And I'm just going to toss out some ideas. When you actually go through a survivorship program, they should be probably giving you a full inventory of things. But this is part of the getting your band back together. This is calling on maybe not the most direct members of the band, but some of the supporting roles that help build up a big, beautiful sound. That's part of the metaphor we're going to use. We're going to start talking about this. Before I start, one of the things I'd like to mention is this is a really good time to get your partner involved if you have a partner. Because for obvious reasons, you want to get them involved in helping you recreate a sex life. And this might also be something that'd be enjoyable to your partner. And plus, your partner can facilitate certain things that are going to help you with arousal. Things like they're using their tongues or their fingers. And having them around. So this, like I said, good time, healthy time to start this. I didn't mention in the first part with a penal assessment having your partner involved because I just think most men, the first time they're kind of facing this, it's an emotional and tough situation and they want to do it alone. So I didn't even suggest that. But if you have that kind of relationship with your partner where you could start from the beginning with them, then more power to you. That's great. Do it. So anyway, so that was one thing that was really important. And what was the second thing? Well, I can't remember the second thing I was going to tell you, so I'll speak it out when it comes to me. So when we talk about erogenous zones, we're just talking about any sort of feeling that you have outside of your genitals. So beyond that, other places in your body where you have feeling. And this is a real good time, I think, to just really run an inventory of everything you got. So you want to be doing a lot of touching, and you want to call up memories of things that really felt good that someone did to you or you did to yourself in the past. So one of the first places that all the material goes to, and it just kind of annoys me, is like, play with your nipples. Like, I don't know what a nipple is. Like, I'm too stupid to have ever discovered that I could find pleasure from that. But that is a good first source, a good place to start, because there are a lot of men have sensitivity there, and it gives you a sensation. And that was my second thought. So I'll tell you what my second thought was, which is we have two objectives here. And one is to find any part of our body that somehow helps us with arousal. And I'm going to call those, I always refer to them as being electric. It feels like sometimes when someone touches me in just the right way, it almost feels like a little shot of electricity goes to me, or right even down to my groin. And so those are the kinds of things we're going to be looking for, because those things are going to be helpful. But there is a secondary objective, and that is finding comfort, soothing, safety, those kinds of things. When you discover those things, so maybe you experiment with tickling your knees and see if that turns you on. It doesn't turn you on, but maybe it helps you relax. Or feet is a better example. A lot of people are sexually aroused by touching the feet, but you may not feel that way. But you might feel it might just feel really soothing to be rubbing and curling your feet a little bit. So having a sense of safety, comfort, bringing down the stimulation level. All of those kinds of things are also objectives with working with your body. So even if something you tried doesn't send a lightning bolt to your groin, it might still feel really good. And that in and of itself, I think, is just really worth knowing and recording and noting. So as we're talking about touching our bodies, really, really think about it. I mean, if you start remembering and just start thinking about it, you'll remember some things that just really, really turn you on. I would like to mention the neck, the back of the neck, behind the ear, around my ear, tracing my jawline, tracing fingers, tracing my lip line. All of those things can just be electric when someone else is doing that to you, or even when you're petting yourself. Words whispered or murmured in an ear. I know I don't like whispering because I'm just like, huh, what? I can't hear whispering very well when someone's doing that in my ear. But if someone just says something in a low, quiet voice in my ear, I mean, they can read off the grocery list. It turns me on just to have a voice that close to my ear. So I'm confessing something about myself. But think about all those places where just a little bit of light touch can send a signal. Each time we can find something that lights up on that board, on that sex board that is you. Anytime we can find those things, we want to grab them. Grab a hold of them and know what they are, because that's going to be part of your band, and we're just going to use those later on to just kind of weave together something that's works for you, that's durable, that you can count on. And so we're going to play with those kinds of things. Something I'd like to mention that I think that this is really relevant is tickling. Where are you ticklish? Because sometimes it can be a clue to where you might have an erogenous zone or a sexual feeling. I just think that tickling and feeling sexual are very, very close in sensation. And so where you have one, you have the other. So I can think of places that are really sensitive to me. One is, my underarms, right in and around here. It's just, it's very, very ticklish. And it also feels very, very sexy to be touched or licked in that area. So you have that. Believe it or not, behind your knees can be just really, really sexy feeling if lightly touched. And that, again, it's a ticklish area. So think of your tickle zones as maybe a way in to discover some parts of your body you haven't explored before that can actually, like I said, send a signal back to your brain or to your groin saying, this feels good, keep going. And then another thing to mention is your feet. I really, really want to put some emphasis on feet because of something I learned, which is in your brain, there's a little area called the homunculus, and it's also known as the little man, I think. And it is literally a map of every sensation in your body. So if you touch your ear, there's a point in that homunculus, that little area, that is specifically for your ear. It's like direct wiring from your ear right to that spot, ear, right here. And your knee is here, and your eyeballs over here. Anything that you can feel is on a map. It's literally on a map. And that map is the same for every human being. It's the same order, the same order of body parts. The interesting thing about the homunculus is that the feet are mapped directly next to the genitals in this little in the homunculus itself. So they're right next to each other. And there is I think it's more than a hypothesis now. I think it's an actually full-blown theory that the reason why feet are such a sexual element for so many people, foot fetishes are very, very common. And the reason why they believe that's the case is because they believe that a strong sensation in one area can bleed over to the other. And so, and I know I've felt it, sometimes just having the arch of my foot stroked, I will just, get a sensation. It almost feels like someone has touched my genitals. It just is that strong of a connection. And so that is worth exploring. So it's worth just having someone stroke your feet, you stroking your feet, massaging your feet, licking your feet, getting your feet involved in sex. You can use your toes to do some pretty sexy things. And see if any of that works. It's worth exploring. And even if it doesn't, and I really explored that. And for me, none of it quite played out in any sort of really strong way. But I did discover that rubbing my feet together helped. And I think it's partly a soothing thing. Just sort of creating a lot of comfort allows me to kind of open up and be more sexual. So it's not directly sexual, but it still helped a lot in that respect. And it may actually be kind of a sexual sensation. Sometimes it's just hard to tell what's going on. But man, I incorporate that now as part of my arousal process. It's very, very helpful in kind of helping be part of that band, be part of the music, and do that. So really, really pay attention to your feet. And I'd be happy to hear in the comments other people's comments about erogenous zones and what they can do. Hot and cold is something you can experiment with. Ice. You can experiment with a lot of different things. I shouldn't do this because it's not fair to my partner, but we have long played a game of how aroused can we get each other without actually touching our genitals. And it's kind of a contest. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just two gay guys. Maybe it's just guys are always competitive no matter what. But in a way, we're kind of playfully competitive. And so it's like this, it's been a long-held, way before I had prostate cancer, just a long-held little game we sometimes play of how much can I turn you on? How much power do I have over you? And I can turn you on without even touching your penis. So if you can add an element of play to this, then that's I think that can be very, very helpful too. So please feel free to comment. I'm sure I'm missing 1,000 things, but hopefully I've tossed enough ideas out there to kind of whet your interest, kind of get you thinking about this again. And I'm sure as soon as I say this, you're going like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, in a way we kind of get comfortable in the way we have sex and it becomes utilitarian and we drop all the, some of the stuff that we don't absolutely need and we stop doing it, like playing with your nipples or touching your body more. And it's like, yeah, I remember doing that and I remember being a lot of fun. And you're going to snap right back into some of the things that you've done before that have been successful and useful for you, and possibly even discover some new ones just by trying a few things. So wish you luck with that and look forward to comments. Thanks.